Hello, everyone, and welcome to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ochs, and today we're working on LinkedIn to help veterans to transition from that time when they're doing an amazing job serving our country to going into the private sector and doing awesome stuff. We have an incredible guest here today who was in the Navy, who's served in the White House, been on two incredible ships, protecting us and doing incredible stuff for the United States. This is in partnership with American Dream U, where we help veterans to get back into the Shine Online game. And what we mean by that is you've done so many great things. You have so many wonderful stories. How do we help you shine online in an authentic manner? Today, we have Melissa Stichel. She's a systems administrator. She is based out of Virginia. And Melissa, you are a cybersecurity, a bit of an expert, I would call you. You're former Navy, and you were in the information systems as a technician, from what I understand. You've been based on two ships in the past, one of them being the Ronald Reagan, which is an incredible ship. And you were in the White House for several years.
Yes.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here today. So here's what I'd like to do. We're going to take a look at your LinkedIn, if it's all right with you today.
Yes.
And we are going to go work on your LinkedIn and help to tell this awesome story that you have, so that with your future career and role that you want, we're going to make sure that that's something that people see in you. Now, what's your next step with your career? You mentioned a little bit. What do you want to do next?
Next, I would like to earn other certifications to get myself more into the cybersecurity role. I'm planning to get the CEH certification and also to learn more on Splunk.
Okay.
So those are two areas I'm planning to study next month.
I don't know what Splunk is. Can you explain that for everybody and myself?
Splunk is like a logging tool where you can get information about your systems in real time.
Okay.
And that's a way for me to transition into that, since I do have a little bit of Linux skills.
Beautiful.
So, and it's pretty, I don't want to say it's popular, but it kind of is. And it's just a different route towards my career.
Beautiful. I have something called the LinkedIn checklist. I'm going to give it to everybody who's watching this here today, and Melissa as well, to you. Now, this checklist is going to help us look over the most important parts of LinkedIn that are going to help us shine online. We're going to first look at your clear photo, and you've done a great job with that. We're going to take a peek at the header image. Then we're going to look at the headline, as you can see right here. We're going to look at our About Us section. We're going to use me as an example too, Melissa, so we'll have stuff to point to. We're going to add featured posts. So we've got all this stuff to take a peek at the end, and we'll get down to even how to publicize your page. How does this sound?
Sounds good.
All right, so let's take a look at your stuff first. I love your photo. It looks great. It's easy to recognize you. It's smiley. It doesn't have to be perfect. Yours is great. It looks somewhat professional. But anybody else out there, you could have a family member hold your iPhone or Android up, or anything else. You could even have a military photo. If that's okay and legal to use, you could use that, whatever you feel comfortable, that's within the last 5 years or so. Let's look at your header image now. Well, I believe this is a default one. There's an opportunity to add something that represents you, right? And I like to say a project, a skill. You could even say personality, but here it's really just, it's about your future. Let's use me as a nerdy example. So if we go to, and I went to my personal website, but we're going to go to LinkedIn for me, and we are going to click on mine in the upper left. And you're going to notice that I get the opportunity I used to travel the country teaching students how to shine online, Melissa. Here's me doing that. If you click on this, you get hundreds of students behind me. And that is a skill that I have, a project I worked on, or something I want to highlight that to a future employer, an internship, or anything else, right? So that's an opportunity for you to do that, whether it is your Navy background, whether it's a system engineer, or maybe you volunteer. Maybe it's a group photo of you volunteering, or a family, or whatever that is. But usually it's a project, usually it's a skill, usually it's something that you truly believe in that also is something congruent with what you want to do in the future. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Great. And that's something you're going to want to fill out. It's going to give them a good, what we need to do is stand out and give them a good idea of who we are. We don't get a second chance. We get that first awesome chance online. So you've got your name, which is terrific. There's another little tiny hack that I want to show you that is a little tiny thing next to your name. Now, do you see right here? Do you see that little tiny, this is a speaker? Well, if I click on it, everybody's going to hear me say the word Josh Ochs. Now I have a weird last name. So it's German. It's kind of weird. It's pronounced Oaks, even though it's spelled Ochs. If I click this, everybody might hear it. Josh Ochs. So I have basically on my phone been able to say Josh Ochs so people know how to pronounce it. Another thing is, Melissa, so I've heard some people do this. Well, they'll go, I'm excited to someday meet you. My name is Josh Ochs. There's something cute in there, something fun, presents you well, but that's an opportunity so people, if you have a weird last name like me, they can pronounce it. Kind of a cool little thing to have in there. Also, let's take a look at your headline. Lead Linux system administrator at this company, which is terrific. I love how clear and cut to the point that is. Really terrific. So it says what you do. It says where you're working. You get an A for that. It could be anything like I help businesses to shine online, or I get the opportunity to travel the country, or I've written 6 books on this, or whatever that is. Be really specific about it, but also let people know what you were doing either in an industry or what you do for companies and so on. Now, you've done a great job. Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. Wonderful. I want to talk to you about how many connections you have. At 500 connections, Melissa, it stops and it just says 500 plus. You'll notice that with me, it'll just say 500 plus connections. You're going to want to connect over the next year or so, Melissa, with more connections so that you hit that 500 plus. It shows people, hey, this is a serious person about networking online. It also just helps people to say, oh, if I connect, or if I invite this person to be a connection, they're probably going to accept it because they're checking it from time to time to accept those connections. Also, an interesting thing to keep in mind, Melissa, is as people who you may have known in the Navy, or you may know at your current job, as they go on to another job, they may change their email address, but their LinkedIn will stay the same. So if you stay connected with them here, somehow they're always able to keep up with it. So you'll be able to message them years beyond. And it's almost like a Facebook that's better than Facebook in a way, because this is I like to call it the sleeping giant of networks, in that it is most people are on it who are professionals. So really work on that in probably the next few years. Perhaps you say yes, or network with, and maybe people at work, you network with 10 people a month. That's 1 every 3 days or so. Just add a connection here and there and stay updated. Does that sound fair?
Yes, it's easy. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. You're on the internet a lot, which is terrific. We're going to click on your contact info. We're going to work on this little thing right here. Do you see this, everybody, right here? It's your first name, your last name, plus almost a 10-digit number, probably 9 digits right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it look a little bit more like this. See how mine LinkedIn is just in, and it's Josh Ochs. It's first and last name, and see how short it is. So I could include that in an email, and when somebody clicks on it, it goes over to here. Now I have to actually log in to do that, so it's unfortunate, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It will include, if you include that in email, somebody could click on it. It's much shorter. It's much easier. And so we're going to work on that here in just one sec. But let's go ahead and go back to my checklist real quick. So we've talked about the clear photo, the header image. We've talked a little bit about the headline, which you're doing a great job at. We're going to look at your About Us section here real quick. Now, what is the About Us section? Well, this is a wonderful chance to let our skills, our background, tell a wonderful story. So for you, it's hello, I'm Melissa, highly qualified and certified IT professional with top secret clearance. And I am so privileged right now, Melissa, to be on a Zoom with somebody with top secret clearance. This is fantastic. Oh, you're so great. So certified. So you've already started this off, and it's very interesting. I'm already intrigued, and I'm a little picky and choosy. I'm here to highlight you and to kind of coach you up to make sure that this is as great as we can make you. And you already told the story a little bit. As an analytical problem solver, expert network engineer, and accomplished systems administrator, I conduct comprehensive troubleshooting, testing, and operation of complex. I love this. This is really, really great. It's very clear as well. There's also an idea that you might have in here, something I want you to consider. You know, being a part of a Navy is such a great thing. And our partnership with American Dream U, I really want to highlight and remind you how powerful it is to put that into your background, you know, serving in the Navy. And I don't think you have that here. Do you? I didn't see.
No, I don't.
You might consider that, Melissa. Here I am rooting for you. If I had pom-poms, I'd be shaking them because I'm your biggest fan. I want you to consider adding a little something there as, and it could be, I served from 2001 to 2012 in Iraqi freedom. I was on 2 different ships. Here's what I did. Just a little blurb about that. And then I was also stationed at the White House and just put that in there as well, because A, it comes up in SEO. B, when somebody prints that out and we can download this as a PDF and turn it into your resume, we want that to be in there, that rich history of who you are. Like, wow, this is a pretty incredible person. Does that sound fair?
Yes, it sounds awesome, actually.
Paragraph for each. I served in the Navy on these, Iraqi freedom on these 2 ships. It's a cool little paragraph, and then your experience at the White House. Very few people ever get the chance to do that, and that's pretty incredible. But I'd say you've got an A to an A minus here. To really get that A plus, let's talk about the Navy. Let's talk about the White House. Okay. Now, let's look at your activity. I want everyone who's watching this to understand that when you comment, it shows up in the activity. And this is all wonderful. As long as I have 2 words that I want everyone to think about. It should be full of gratitude or positivity, or a combination of both if you really want to win. So here we have you commenting beautiful with a blue heart, beautiful with something else, right? I would love to learn about RPA, right? And then congratulations, all positive comments. But we just need to know that everything that is our activity on every network, look at this, is amazing. I can't wait for Top Gun, the movie, to come out, by the way. I think it's coming out like I just watched the preview again. But this is absolutely incredible. So you're commenting, and I want everybody to know that every time we comment, it creates a little bit of a feed. And I'm not even connected to you yet. I intentionally made sure I wasn't connected to you so that we can make sure we can see this. So there's all kinds of little things. You've commented on that. You probably back and forth a few different times in here and such, but it shows lots of different things. So something to keep in mind. You've done a great job here, keeping it positive. I have a book out. This is not a shameless plug, but it is. It's called Light, Bright, and Polite. And this is actually the term I want us all to think about, how to be light, bright, and polite in everything that we're doing. Look, people will get mad at us online. People will do this stuff, but it's how you respond more so than what they've said to us. And you've done a great job with that. All right, let's dive into your experience. Now, in my last video, I helped a gentleman named James do this, and it was pretty funny, Melissa, because I accidentally deleted my most recent experience, and we kind of rebuilt it together. And now I realize I should do that every time, because it takes a moment to rebuild it, and it shows people from start to finish how it works. But I want to give you a couple of my really cool little tricks on experience. I want to show you something. So let's go down to my experience, and let's take a quick look. I used to work at Walt Disney Studios. I was essentially an intern. They called me an assistant brand marketing associate, but we'll call me an intern. Now, let's pretend like you do not know what Disney does, right? Disney Studios, the headquarters in Burbank, California. If you didn't know what this organization or a division does, I want to show you a framework that we've developed here. I interviewed at Google many years ago, and a gentleman showed me this framework. We've modified it to make it even better so that no matter where you interview, this will work. So what we've started off with here is a 1 sentence about what does the organization do. Disney is the largest media and entertainment conglomerate in the world with revenues of $36.1 billion. Now, they've actually grown. They're actually bought Mattel since then and all this other stuff. So I kind of need to update that number. But the idea is, what is the 1 sentence that describes it? And here's why. It could be a startup. It could be a foundation. It could be anything else. Tell us what that organization does in the world. Then tell us in the second paragraph, what did you do there? Disney, Buena Vista Home Entertainment was a wonderful experience for me. I worked closely in 7 departments, did this, 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 and this. Okay, now we're getting an idea. Cool. Then you get an opportunity to put bullets of awards, achievements, more skills that you obtained there, anything else that you're working on. In my case, I love testimonials. So here's a quote from a testimonial from my Disney. I got a letter of recommendation from my boss at Disney, and I threw that in there as well. So it's just a good way to sell yourself. So everyone watching this, just to reiterate, first of all, you must start off with something that's accurate. Even though I was a bit of an intern, this was the technical term for what I was. You can always go down in what your role is, but always be accurate. Don't go above. And then I tied it to the real Walt Disney Company. Do you notice how there's an actual image there? And
Mhm.
that makes a difference. I actually intentionally have kept one of my volunteer organizations. I have a little bit of a volunteer program where I teach kids how airplanes fly. And we put lots of kids in airplanes so they can learn how aircraft work. And look how that is the default one. Whereas my other ones, they're tied to a real company. So this one, we probably could update it. And we're going to here in the near future and tie it to a real logo. Whereas at Disney, I have that real logo. It makes it look great. Then we have said one sentence about what the organization does, one paragraph or 5 paragraphs about what I did there. And then you get to have some more. But this chops it up into a really easy way to describe what we've done there. Does that sound fair?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. And that way you can talk about, let's say from 2001 to 2012, you were in Iraqi freedom. You can talk about what Iraqi freedom was. And then you can lead on. I was stationed on this ship, and this ship is known as like the Ronald Reagan, right? Which is incredible.
Mhm.
I did a little bit of studying on that. But the features behind the Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier, and then what was your role, right?
Okay.
Which I think is phenomenal. Okay, so we've looked a little bit about the experience. So let's go look at yours real quick. So I love how you put the city name, but we already have that right here. We have the city, the company name, and the city as well. So you may
Mhm.
not need this the second time, and you
Okay.
may not need this one, lead Linux system administrator 2018 to present, because it has all that built in there, right?
Mhm.
So you may be able to save some space right there by removing that. And then I would say instead of this, I'd say exactly what this company does. This
Mhm.
company does this and builds X, Y, and Z for this type of customer. And it's one sentence. It's probably less than 2 lines. If it goes over to the third line, it's probably too long. It should occupy these 2 lines. Once again, today, Melissa, and for everybody else watching this, this is a menu of suggestions. You don't have to order from them everything on the menu at the restaurant, but the menu
Mhm.
is just options. And what I'm providing for you are things that seem to work for professionals all over the world. And you can use them if you feel like they're the right fit for you. The next thing I want you to do is write this a little bit. It could be in first person, a little bit more human friendly, because real humans see this. We used to be very robotic in our resumes back in the day, oversee and stuff. And I
Mhm.
love this, but you could say, you know, one of my roles here was to do this, this, and this. And that way the real human that reads it on the other end, it's still short and to the point, but it's a little bit easier to read. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Because this is all really good. Let's go ahead and click on more. And then so you'll have one sentence about what the organization did, another few bullets, or maybe this much on what you did. And then you could say maybe even another chunk, or break it up into a few little things, whatever that
Mhm.
is.
Okay.
Okay, great. Senior network data community. And this is with the same organization. This is with Lockheed Martin and the Pentagon.
Mhm.
Now, was
Yeah.
this, you worked with Lockheed Martin and the Pentagon as a client?
Yes. Yes. And then eventually Leidos took over the contract. So that's why I listed both there.
Yeah, I love it. So I would tie it if you can to one organization. Maybe it's Leidos, and so you get the image there if you can.
Mhm.
But I get it if you don't, or you could tie it to Lockheed Martin or the Pentagon or whatever is
Mhm.
legal and ethical and moral there. So that
Okay.
if you told the story, they'd go, "Oh yeah, that's accurate." And if you can get the image there, that's great. If not, I totally get it. And then you can say this was a contract between 3 organizations to do this, this, and this. And then my
Okay.
role of the contract was this, 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 and this. And I enjoyed working with 14 people to do this. And then you can go on to more of the skills or something like that. I like to break things up into 3. You don't have to. I'm just giving you
Mhm.
kind of a framework for that. But I love that first sentence of this was a contract that I got to work on for 8 years and 2 months. I mean, um,
Mhm.
pretty incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this is amazing work. Communications systems technician, White House Communications Agency. This is incredible. And once again, and I love how you're introing this. Very friendly. I held 2 positions with this agency, serving as a senior mobile communications system operator and communication system technician. Before that, I'd say
Mhm.
here's what the communication systems department or agency, the White House Communications Agency does. White House is one of the most famous buildings in the world, and our communications division makes sure to allow people to, whatever this is, all right, I'm making it up, to make sure everyone is communicating around this incredible building or whatever that is. You could probably go to their website or your job description and find that, and pull something pretty legal and make it friendly. And then you dive into this great stuff. This is incredible because you've got a couple roles here that you've had. There's also, let's see, you had 2 positions. There's also a way to add a position. So you could say communication systems technician, and you can list it again. And I forget how to do that. There's 2 ways to list the same company as role 1 and 2. You've done it nicely here. And you've actually listed it really nicely, showing the most recent one, the one that you kind of left that organization with, which is great. So I like this way. There's also some more. If you go in and edit this, there's a way to add on another one, I believe. But I really like what you've done here. So I would just add on that one sentence in the beginning of what does the White House Communications Agency do?
Okay.
But well done. And it has the image, which I love. That's great. Okay, let's go back to the checklist to make sure we're on. We're going to look at the featured posts. We're coming back on that. And we are then going to, we've written the about it section. We're looking at the experience. So the first line is what the company does in less than 2 sentences. Then what you did or do at the company. Then maybe an award or a testimonial or more skills or accomplishments. Make sure it has an image for the company or organization. And then list all past accomplishments. We're going to look into that here just right now. And then we're going to come back up to the top. So for education, wonderful job. University of Management and Technology, executive certificate, amazing. So you went back and got some certificates. Master's degree in management, congratulations. And you've listed these all. So that's great. And a hiring agency can go through here and look at all these. So that's wonderful. Licenses, this is great. CompTIA security plus CE. This is awesome. You can see the credential. I normally don't click on these, but it's active. That's wonderful. And is that a security certificate?
Security plus.
Security clearance type thing? Yeah,
security plus.
That's amazing. Enlisted Air Warfare Specialist. Okay, this is amazing. If you can tie this to a real image, that would be incredible for the Navy.
Sure.
If you can, see if when it goes into edit, pick the drop down or upload the Navy's logo. There's square or round logo would be incredible. Just so that we can help you shine online. And Enlisted Surface War, we've got this 2 different organizations. So the 2 different certifications, air and surface. Amazing.
Thank you.
You are incredible. You are incredible. Okay. Skills and endorsements. I love what you're doing here. So troubleshooting, these are people who have endorsed you usually, right? For troubleshooting and all these different things. These are important to have, and great. Military, security. Absolutely, absolutely awesome. Not much we can do about that. However, one of the things that I want everybody to see, and people are always asking me, Josh, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do I go build it, or do I work on, do I like get a bunch of people to look at me so that then I build it? No, you go build it and they will come, from that 1980 or 1990 movie, right? A Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come. And when the more that you build your online persona, especially on LinkedIn today, the more that you will get skills and endorsements from other people, because your SEO, your search engine optimization, these little words that we're putting in there, and we are not faking it, Melissa, today. We're bringing out your authentic self to show off all the hard work that you've done incredibly in security and all kinds of great things for this country. We are just putting that on there so that these keywords get picked up, and you're also adding connections. And before you know it, 500 connections are going to happen, and more skills and endorsements are going to happen here. So it's what comes first, I can't tell you, but you got to build it and then they will come. Okay. Accomplishments, 2 languages. You speak English and Spanish. Terrific. That's amazing. You've got those filled out. And then interests. Everybody, I want you to listen to this in case you follow something inappropriate, it is there. So just make sure these are all appropriate. US Navy, the NSA, wonderful. CGI, US nations, fantastic. Splunk, that's cool. Groups, we can see all your groups. Put veterans to work. Cosmetics design, top secret candidates, amazing. This is really, really cool. Amazing stuff. and schools. You can see the schools that you follow. So you've got an A. And it gives me the chance to go follow those, gives me the chance to go click on things and design. So it's really, really awesome. Let's dive up in and go and look at a couple things we didn't look at yet. We're going to talk about adding, I want to show you something really neat. So let's go back over to my stuff. There's this big button when you go into the LinkedIn. I clicked on the LinkedIn logo on the upper left. And when you start a post, let's say I wanted to share something. Now, what you probably don't know about me is that I put a lot of effort into teaching students how to shine online. So one of our safety ones might be what parents need to know about LinkedIn. And it's ironic that this was a blog that we posted today, because here I am showing LinkedIn to you. A couple ideas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and post something from my blog, and I'm going to drag something over. Let's see. Let's go over here, Control C, and I'm going to go, LinkedIn's the world's largest. So let's do this. Parents, professionals of all ages. LinkedIn is becoming very important for students. So how about we post that? So what I'm doing here is pulling something from my blog. LinkedIn is becoming a very important tool for students who want to improve the first page of their Google results when applying to colleges, internships, or jobs. Now I'm going to link to that. And you could post a video, you could post anything in there. But when I post, this is something I want people to see. You're going to see an image pop up before. See how this nice image? Now we're going to post this, and I want to show you this here real quick. You see this right here. I want to show you one cool trick that's neat. Before we dive into that, there is a section up here that we don't have yet for you, and it's called featured posts. And I want to show you this for mine. So what we're going to do is open up this featured post area. We're going to click on this, and you can pin posts up there. So see this featured area right here? So this is a revolving door of really neat little posts. I'm on the news sometimes for keeping kids safe. I work with the government. I work with law enforcement. This one over here was I was on Channel 5 in Los Angeles. And sometimes when you have a really good post, you can feature it up here and you can edit them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this post I just posted, and we're going to click here at the 3 dots, and we are going to feature it on the top of your profile. Let's say you post something great that you've achieved, or you wrote an article in here. By the way, writing articles is really important, because then you can write an article about encouraging, let's say it's something, hey, I want to give back to any young women who want to learn what it's like to work in a top secret environment in the White House, or what you can achieve, right? You want to inspire some students, write an article in there. You can feature the article in the top of the post. You can feature the post or anything like that. So we're going to feature this in the top of our profile. Now in the bottom left, it's featured. So now if I go over to the front of my thing, you're going to now see when we refresh, we're going to be able to go down to the bottom, down just a little bit. Look at this. Boom. There it is. So now when people land on there, they're like, ooh, this is nice. I can see Josh has got some cool stuff. You could be featured in the news. You could write an article. You could post a picture of you on the aircraft carrier or something, Ronald Reagan. But now they can click on that. They can see that post. They could learn about it. They can click on the post again, and they can go over to my website to learn all about how I'm teaching students how to post and be positive on LinkedIn. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
So now you got lots of options. We're really just turning your LinkedIn into your new digital resume, so anyone can find you. You don't even have to send them a PDF to find what you're doing. And that's something that I'm excited to see on your anything that you're doing in the future. You could feature things, you could post things, you could feature an, let's say the Navy, let's try something here. Let's try, let's say somebody here is posting popular courses on e-learning, effective listening. Now it doesn't have that here, but it would be really neat. And this is I should suggest this to LinkedIn, but sometimes you can feature these on your post, but that's not the case here. It's usually stuff that you post that you get the opportunity to feature on your page. But you can also share this, like a follow-up, some posts I made about real estate security. I'm just trying to find somebody. Oh, I love John Wooden. Never forget those who helped you up. Oh, such a great man, such a great man. And it'd be really neat to be able to then share something, and then you can feature it if you like it. But I would suggest that you post something from a blog post or write an article and feature them from there.
Okay.
Now, so we've talked about add feature posts with an image. And then what I want you to consider doing is post once a month, once a week over the next few months, and really highlighting whether it's a good question about systems analysts or security, whatever that is, or whether and it's not asking for something, it's asking for people's opinions. Okay.
Mhm.
Asking for people's opinions. And that could be, hey, what's your opinion on this? What do you think? Where do you think the direction of this is going? Does anyone have any suggestions here? Also, what I want you to do is if you ever want to shoot a video that asks, or there's a tool called loom.com that helps you record videos for free. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
There's a lot of video recording tools. Loom seems to be really easy to use for us, and it
Mhm.
works in your Chrome browser. It works on your desktop, and it hosts the video for you for free. It's 5 minutes for free, and then I pay $15 a month to have up to an hour. And you're just recording videos with your little face. It's like Zoom, but easier to work with. It's called Loom. That's another thing you could post onto your page. You could be shooting a little video. Here's how to get your security clearance. I don't know. Here's what the world, you can do a little interview with yourself or asking a question. Those are things to post. When you post, do that featured post technique I showed
Mhm.
you. And know that everything that we comment and like may show up on our activity area. And that's just a little red flag for everybody. Anything that we say, if it could be misconstrued, misunderstood, just let's be careful on that. Now let's go do one thing that's really important. I want us to consider starting with the linkedin.com in our URL, and then notice that in is always there, and then we're going to create a username for you. So what I want to show you is if we go over to mine, notice yours up here. It's Melissa plus your last name plus a big long number. And that's also in your contact information right here. But I'm going to show you over here. I'm going to go and click on the LinkedIn thing over here. And then you're going to notice I'm going to click on me in the top up here. And I'm going to go over to view my profile. There's a way to do this. Okay, here we go. Edit public profile and URL. So if you want to edit the public profile and URL, that's going to give you the chance to then go ahead and edit everything. And now we're in edit mode. Ooh, nice. And that's when we can edit everything. You can see my articles, by the way. If somebody wasn't a friend of mine, they could see articles. What I want you to do, and let's go through this, is really powerful. Personalize a URL for your profile. I want you to click on the edit button and make it your first and last name without any spaces or characters, if you can.
Okay.
That's going to be really great. It's going to be good for SEO. What's SEO? It's when they search for you, because I searched for you online. This is going to come up first, and this is going to be your best foot forward. You can edit the content, but I want you to also edit your visibility. I have made my whole profile public to anyone on the web so that when they search for me because they want to interview me to be a public speaker, a consultant, I fly around the country teaching law enforcement how to do undercover searching and information for to keep predators away from students, right? And I want them to find me so that they see the excellence that I'm doing to protect the next generation. So I want to publicize my portfolio. I want my name, number of connections, and region to be shared. I want it to be public. I don't want only first degree connections to see me, but with a high security clearance, you might only want first degree. Everybody has a different flavor of what they want. You could have just your network, your first degree, all LinkedIn members. I make it public. So all LinkedIn members, on or off LinkedIn, your content could be visible to Google, Bing, and et cetera. And what they're warning you is it will be accessible because they want better SEO to bring people in for ads. I turn all this on: background photo, headline, website summary, and everything else. I make sure everything's on. You can even create a little badge that promotes add it to your website and stuff. And here's what you're going to see when you click on that public profile. You're going to see your name. You're going to see my team's programs show students, parents, and professionals how to shine online. People, they can click on my websites, Smart Social, my main website. They can see my about articles. You can see my activity, all the stuff I've done, right? My latest company, and so on, all these different things. So very important, and all the publications and stuff like that. So Really, really important. I want to show you one more thing that nobody taught. Does this all sound good and fair, Melissa?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. It's a lot of information and
It's a
it's
lot.
helpful.
I move fast. I apologize. I had a
I
bunch of
know it's
parents
fine.
I had a bunch of parents and a parent night event go, "You're moving fast." All right. So here's one more thing that I want to show you that nobody talks about.
Mhm,
When somebody says something nice about you, Melissa, I would like for you to consider having, because we're always interviewing, we're always working to serve others, to grow our career, our horizon, our future. And I'm really big, if somebody compliments me, it's not that I want to show that off to people, but I want, when other people ask, well, what do people say about you? Hey, go to my recommendations in my LinkedIn. And what does that mean? We're going to go down to my recommendations down at the bottom. I used to do a lot of public speaking on corporate stuff. And I would tell people, hey, that's nice that you just said something nice. Would you consider saying that on my recommendations? And what I'm going to show you a little trick. These are people who have recommended me, about 86 of them.
mhm,
And over the years, they recommend me and they say nice things. I did this and this, Josh was skilled at this. And there's a certain point to where you probably don't need more than 50, but I just went hog wild. I was on stage and I said, if you want to say something nice, that would be a nice place to say it. So now I can go and grab these and put them on a website and all these great people. Now, what I want to show you is how to get these recommendations. So
mhm,
once you've changed your URL to linkedin.com/in/ your first and last, then, and I'm going to give this to everybody here, all you have to do is copy this URL here where
mhm,
it has your linkedin.com and your username, and it's going to add detail plus recommendation plus right at the end of it.
mhm,
And what it does is, if somebody were to click on this, and if anybody loves this video and you want to write a recommendation, all you do is you click on this and open it in a new window. And I'm logged in as Josh Ochs, so I can't do this. But somebody could write a Josh Ochs a recommendation, and then it starts it off with, and you can email this to people. You manage. It's not allowing me to do it because I can't recommend myself, but you get
mhm,
the idea.
mhm.
Somebody could pick, like, they worked here, and then they could recommend me and so on. But
Oh,
that's a
cool.
great thing. Go get some recommendations from people. Anybody you've worked with, it's the nicest thing that they can do. Or if they say something nice, like, you helped me. It's a difficult time, but it's something we have to have in our tool chest. If you remodel houses, you wear this little tool belt. If you're a nerd like me, it has a drill in it, and it has a tape measure, and you have
Mhm,
those ready at the ready. And these are skills that we want at the ready, so that we can see what we can do. So those are some of the things I want you to consider. Also, here's another little nerdy trick. Sometimes people will go and download all of their connections, and they will email you. Have you ever gotten an email, a newsletter from somebody that's in your connections on LinkedIn?
yeah, I have.
Yeah, I got a cool way to track that, to find out how they get my email. If you have a Gmail and that's your email address in the back end, mine is joshoaks@gmail.com. You can keep the Josh Oaks, add a plus to it, plus the word, any word you want, LinkedIn contact, LinkedIn connection, or something like that, and then add gmail.com. These are technically the same email address in Gmail's eyes. They will both go to joshoaks@gmail.com. But when you get this one in, you have now tagged that special. You put this email into your LinkedIn main email address. And now you know this is where it came from. Somebody downloaded your email. They downloaded all their contacts off LinkedIn. They put it into their MailChimp newsletter subscriber system, sent it out to you, and you can go, all right, silly Steve, you're and you can unsubscribe, right?
Mhm.
I'm super careful on tracking things, even though I'm sharing my Gmail address with you. I don't consider that as unsafe in this realm, but I'm super careful about where people got my information and what might be leaking in the role that I play in this world. All right, we've covered a lot. How are you feeling so far, Melissa?
Feel great, confident because I have this information that you're sharing with me. So, um, and I know that once I apply these tools, my resume will stand out more.
You are an
Thank
outstanding
you.
candidate. I have to say, and it's great to partner with American Dream U, where they help veterans like yourself do amazing things. But you're an outstanding candidate. You
Thank
have an
you.
incredible pedigree. Your background is incredible. I'm honored. I'm honored to get the chance to talk with somebody of your caliber, and I'm so excited about what you can do on your LinkedIn. And just
Thank you.
like this will be 15 to 20 minutes to upgrade it. And I think, yeah, I'm really honored. I'm going to connect with you at the end of this so we can have you in the connection. So thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
For the rest of you watching, you can go to smartsocial.com to see my life's work where I protect children. I keep students safe on social media so they can someday shine online. We're a foundation that reaches people all over the world because these tools are not slowing down. We want to make sure that you're using them in a productive manner instead of just a pastime. Thank you so much for all the support. Thanks to American Dream U for making this possible. And thank you to Melissa for all your service to this country.
Thank you.
We'll see all of you very soon. Have a great day. And as always, make sure you keep it light, bright, and polite because our kids are watching. We'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.